Hi, everyone. Today, I have a very special guest on my podcast. His name is Shaun. He is actually one of the co-founders of GoHighLevel. Now, you guys know I have been raving about the software. I'm still kind of married to the other software that I've been using. And divorce papers is not quite signed yet, but I'm 100% married to this one, so I need to kind of check my priorities. But anyway, so I've got 10 students in my program, and everybody is just loving it. And today, I've got Shaun, and he is the brains behind all of this, or should I say some of the brains. Hi, Shaun. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on to my show. This is so excited. I reached out to you on LinkedIn and I wasn't sure if you were actually going to do this, and you did. So I want to say thank you so very much for this.
Of course, I'm always happy to talk to anybody who wants to talk to me.
Thank you. Well, that's good to know. Where are you from, Shaun? Can you tell people a little bit about?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm in Oregon, in the U.S. So, and I guess I'm not technically from here, but I've been here for a very long time.
Okay. And what do you do for fun? What's your fun thing to do?
Oh gosh. Well, this is a pretty full-time gig. So if I'm not doing this, I'm definitely just hanging out with my family. So, maybe some skiing in the wintertime, but other than that, pretty much just working on this full-time.
It's quite an impressive suite of software. I mean, I've been building, I've got a marketing agency for like the last 3 years, and I've been doing this, funnel building and things like that. This is my thing. It's what I do. And then I've got obviously this podcast, which is more like my fun hobby that I just love to share people's, stories and so on with other people. And when I started using this GoHighLevel, I was quite impressed with what you get for how much you pay. It's just so super affordable. Can you talk to us a little bit about how did that come about, and, how did you decide to basically make it so affordable for people?
Yeah, sure. So we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of new agency owners, and we realize that a lot of times cost is a barrier. And, we feel like if we do a good job at the low end, as we, as they grow, we grow. And so we felt like that was kind of a reasonable approach. And so, and we're a small business ourselves, but we're bootstrapped. We don't have any funding. And so, we wanted to kind of treat our customers like we would want to be treated ourselves. And so we just kind of went like that, and it's worked out pretty well.
It's quite impressive. It's like the software, guys. It is amazing. You have to check it out. There's a free trial, so it's so worth it. So Shaun, what made you decide to start GoHighLevel? How did it come about?
Sure. Yeah. So I had another software company, and it was in the accounting software space, and I integrated with a New Zealand company called Xero, and also a big American one called Intuit for QuickBooks. And I was working with about 1,000 small businesses, helping them on the accounting side. And I kept asking them sort of like, what else do you need? And they all said, oh, we want more customers. And so I thought, oh, well, maybe I can create some software that'll help with that, And so I started down that road. And, what I realized very quickly was that small business owners want that as an end goal, but they don't have the time or the expertise to put into getting there often. And so this is where the marketing agency or the professional marketer comes in, and they really fill that gap. And so once we understood, oh, wait a second, those are the people behind the small business creating the success, it was like, wait, we need to focus on them, because that's the real sort of secret sauce of small business success.
Yes. And that's just amazing, because I don't know of any other software where you can actually plug your agency into it, because that's obviously what I've been doing, because I've been using third-party softwares, and which is fine, but then it's like an email integration here, and it's a funnel here, and it's a website there. It's all these different components. And at the end of the day, it easily costs these business owners. I mean, I used to be one of them, like $500-600 a month. And I mean, I'm in New Zealand, so my clients, most of them, they pay in New Zealand dollars. So it's even more,
right.
And I was like quite impressed. It was like, wow, we actually get all of these things for so cheap. And they were also impressed, because obviously they're under me as like a sub account. And this is the thing that makes your software so amazing, because it actually gives that flexibility to agencies to help their people on a very different level, which is
totally
pretty amazing. Yeah. So obviously, being an entrepreneur, there's a lot of struggles that comes with entrepreneurship. We know this. What has been your biggest struggle?
Gosh, I sort of love what I do, and I feel like I'm on a really big mission. And so anytime I run up against somebody who doesn't understand or gets stuck or gets frustrated, and they say, this isn't for me, I just really, it's always tough. I don't know why. I take it personally every time, because I just think, I just know that had we gotten you a little farther or gotten you at an earlier moment before you got frustrated, you would actually see this vision, and you would understand it. And more importantly, it would help you, and you would make money, and you would grow, and you'd be successful, and you would help your clients. And, it's a lot of really positive stuff. And so whenever I see somebody sort of fail at that, I always think, gosh, I feel terrible. I wish I could have done something to save them. So I'd say that's probably my biggest struggle.
So it's a bit of an imposter syndrome there that comes in.
I suppose so. Yeah. It's just figuring out how to scale this and figuring out how to try to get to everybody, and which is an impossible task, but just, doing your best.
Yeah. And it's just about being the loudest, right? Because that's really what marketing is. It's just being the loudest.
I guess so. And that's a funny thing. I'm not even a marketer. I'm a software engineer. So I don't even know sometimes what I'm doing here, but I'm having fun.
Well, that's exactly it. And the software speaks for itself. So you don't necessarily you don't have to be loud with what you do, because it speaks for itself. How long has GoHighLevel been going?
Gosh, I think it's probably been almost 4 years now, but not very long.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. Now, okay. So family and relationships. Okay, so before I dive into that, this show is about going behind the scenes to understand what makes people successful, and also, the struggles and the things people face. And one of the struggles, or should I say the challenges that entrepreneurs face, is fitting in family with your work life or / entrepreneurial life. Do you find that as a challenge for you?
Oh, gosh. Oh, absolutely. Every day.
How do you overcome that?
Probably not very well. I'm lucky. I have a very supportive family, but I would definitely say, there are many days where I'm not the best dad I want to be, or the best spouse that I want to be. So I would say I'm not a very good model for balance at all. I never really have been. I've sort of always been a little extreme in the things I do. So it's just sort of how I come out of the box. But, but lucky for me, I've got a really supportive family. So, maybe I probably need to listen to some of your podcasts and guests and things, because I would say I'm probably not the best person to follow on that front.
Yes. And you know what? You and like hundreds and thousands of other entrepreneurs. So you know what? It is a thing. People struggle with this. I used to struggle with this myself. So I completely get that 100%. Behind me, I've got a hashtag goals.
Yeah.
I used to coach small businesses one-on-one quite a bit, and goals was a thing that everybody always struggled with. Do you have advice on goals? Do you follow a certain way that you set goals?
Yeah, I probably should, but no, I think for me, it's just about, waking up every day and just sort of thinking, okay, well, the goal really is that I sort of think of it as an end goal or the mission, right? And so I think for me, maybe that's what it is. It's not sort of getting mired in the, this one-off issue here, this one item there. It's sort of like trying to stay focal on what the long-term mission is, and sort of trying to bring everybody along with the mission, and understanding that, well, that's kind of a messy process. As long as everybody's kind of eventually tilted in the right direction, I think that's kind of the best goal.
Yeah, I like that as well. Now, long-term vision for GoHighLevel, how does that look like? Would you guys have like a...
Yeah, so the mission is pretty simple. We're still doing what we wanted to do to begin with, which is help small businesses and medium businesses thrive, but just understanding that the way to do that is to empower others who have other skill sets, and really just combine us with them, and figure out a way to, by helping an agency or a professional marketer, we can also help a small business, right? And realizing that that's our place in the world, and really just continuing to make sure that everybody who's out there in the digital marketing space knows we're here, and how we can help them, and really focus on making sure that all of our existing customers are continuing to grow and thrive and scale. And I think if we just stick to that idea, the good things will happen.
Yes, no, definitely. Are you enjoying this interview so far? Please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification for more videos like this in future. And like and share this video if you resonate with it, and if you feel like somebody else can benefit out of it. I do aim to please my audience, and I want to share as much as I possibly can. And if you feel there's questions that you need to know, or things that you're really burning your brain and you're like, oh, can you ask this question? Please hit us up at info@unleashyourfocus.com, or drop a comment below, and I can make sure that that is part of our interview questions. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of this episode. Yeah. And it is really cool because it's just such a great model that a lot of people can make money off of one. How do I put this? Like if I'm looking at like how I'm doing it, so I've got my people under me as sub accounts, and they're all making money, and I'm making money because I'm helping them. So it's just, and they're
Right.
helping other people, because my target client is impact driven entrepreneurs and people that want to make an impact and a profit. So it's like a really beautiful circle of people just helping each other.
Totally. And that model is out there. It works. It can be done. Right. And so I think, and I don't think that's something we talk about enough. And I think a lot of people, in fact, say the opposite, like it can't be done. It doesn't work. It doesn't scale, that sort of thing. And I think that's just nonsense. And so I'm happy and I'm happy to be part of that world. That's the world I want to live in.
Yeah, no, I completely like that. Like 100% agree. Do you have anything else that you can add to the audience, Shaun, that I might not have touched on?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest thing I would say is like, if you are on the fence on getting in and becoming an entrepreneur, this is the time to do it. I mean, if you look at, I always love to say, if you go look at Google Trends, and if you don't know Google Trends, it's an awesome tool. But if you look at the term digital marketing agency, and you look back to when Google first started looking at the data, that term has never been searched more. And I think the reason why is because a lot of businesses through COVID have realized that digital is something that can't just be delayed anymore. It has to be the mainstay of your business. And more importantly, they know they need help with it. So they're reaching out to the internet right now, searching digital marketing agency because they're looking for one. So, it's a great time to be a person who is trying to help small and medium businesses find their legs when it comes to digital technology. And so I think it's a great business. I think it has a very bright future. And I hope that more people will jump in because it's a good time to do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with you. And I've noticed also since COVID, because COVID is when my business excelled, because there was more people that started a business literally. And that's where the coaching came in and everything just went whoop, 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 whoop. And it's just amazing because people realize there is no other choice. Where they used to have a choice, some people lost their jobs and there were just no choice. So they had to make a plan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, though, hopefully from this also is that lesson, right? Which is, you never know what's going to come along. And if you don't have your own business of some kind, even if it's just a side gig, that one dependence on that one job, it may evaporate tomorrow. And, it doesn't always have to be because of a global pandemic. It could be lots of reasons, but, you need to be prepared. And you can only do that if you sort of take things into your own hands.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Shaun, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate it. This has been really great. Guys, we're going to leave there's a 2-week trial that GoHighLevel provides, and we're going to definitely drop the link below. And Shaun, if anybody want to get in touch with you, maybe for potential interview, or anybody, can they just reach out to you on LinkedIn like I did? Will that
LinkedIn, Facebook Messenger, whatever works for people.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Likewise, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye for now.
So your ideal avatar, your perfect client, is that then it's more agencies and consultancy agencies than just individual small businesses?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's tough is if you I always try to think about this in terms of like, if you think about there's certainly businesses that have internal resources to do marketing and have professional marketers, and those people are great, could run our platform very easily. But if I just sort of think about it in context of the average small business, they tend to be really great at this thing that they do. Yeah. And marketing and sales are a very important part of it, but it isn't the thing that they do. And there's always this struggle, right? And so I sort of think, for the average small business, the best thing they could do is hire a professional marketer to help them, right? Because most of the time, even if they are doing great and they could have somebody in-house, do they really need to have somebody full-time in-house? It's sort of like that struggle. But I always think, if you're the best dentist in town, or does that mean that you know how to build funnels and websites and run Facebook ad campaigns and all that? I don't think so. And in fact, I think if you spent a lot of time telling your patients that, they would run out of your office immediately because they think, what in the world is this person doing? Why aren't they telling me about nerdy dentistry stuff that they're focused on, right? And so if that's true, in order for them to be great at their craft, then they really should be working with an agency or a consultant.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And I can see now with because I actually started with your software and I white labeled it because I started a coaching business, a group coaching business. I moved away from the one-on-one, and it's been really good. And there's already people making sales, etc., which I'm quite impressed with that, because we've always just worked one-on-one with clients. And I've noticed that firsthand. And there's so many people that struggle with like tiny little things. It's like, what is a favicon? I'm like, And it's things that I used to not know, like, 3-4 years ago. And I'm thinking, now I have to like reverse engineer my head. I'm like, okay, take 100 steps back and explain all the way from the beginning, because I just assume people know these things. And this is the thing. And it's something as small as a favicon can make a big difference, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I do really love the way that you guys are angling this, because it really makes sense. It really, really does make sense. I like that. So now you more the software side than marketing.
Absolutely. Yes.
We've established that you are not a marketer, which there's nothing wrong with that, Shaun. I'm sure you've got people that do that for you. So what is your focus every day? Do you have a focus plan? Do you sit and
I mean, so I would say the focus is I'm very product driven, and I'm very team driven. So, we have 150 team members now. And so it's really about trying to make sure that the organization is all aligned and moving in the same direction, which can be a challenge with that many people. So it's just about making sure that we're making the right short and long-term moves from a product perspective, to me, that are important. We're lucky enough to work with a lot of incredibly talented marketers, and they do a great job getting the word out to other marketing folks in the world about us, which is awesome. And so for me, it's okay, how are we making sure that we're doing the things that our customers are asking for, and we're moving in the right direction and making the right decisions there. So that's really most of what I spend my time doing.
Yeah. Have you guys had, because I mean, back like 10 years ago, there wasn't a lot of competition in the funnel world, let's be real. And in the last 5-6 years, I mean, ClickFunnels is a big competitor of yours, I'm sure. I mean, this is where I'm still half married to.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I think is the way I think about it. Honestly, I think that I always say, if tomorrow every ClickFunnels customer came running over here, I would really not be happy about that day, because you have to realize that their mission is wide, not deep. So they have one thing they want to teach everyone to do, which is great. But once you do that one thing, you start to realize like, oh wait, I need to also, that's capture, right? I've captured the lead, but what about like getting the lead to give me money? How does that work, right? And if it's e-com or something, that's easy, right? Like buy my product, cha-ching, like ship it out. All right, great. But for the rest of us, it's capture, nurture, close, not capture money. Just doesn't work. So normally, once those people learn on ClickFunnels, the ones that grow and actually advance, those are actually the great customers for us. So I think ClickFunnels is almost like a great sort of proving ground for our eventual customer. Because if you're really a pro marketer, eventually you're going to say, well, this is great, I need this, but I need all these other things too.
Yeah, which is so true. I completely agree with you. I like that. This is a good way to put it. So this show is also about, like I said, is to understand, behind the scenes what make people successful. And a lot of the listeners on the show is people that have either started a business and they're stuck, or they're sitting on that fence and I just really haven't started yet. What advice would you have for somebody like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough. I totally get it. Analysis paralysis is sometimes there. I think, just trying things and also being willing to sort of like fail. I mean, HighLevel didn't start overnight. I mean, we actually, before we started HighLevel, we wrote an entire software application to help like home services people manage their jobs and invoicing and estimating and all this other stuff. We wrote this whole long thing. It took us 6 months, and we took it out to market. And people said, yeah, this is great, but we'd like more customers. And we're like, oh, and we basically dumped the whole thing. Yeah. So we wasted 6 months of our lives on something no one wanted. So, I mean, that doesn't really make the story most of the time because it's not exciting, but it's the truth.
That's
right.
Hard. Yeah.
And so I would say that, but I'm sure glad we did, because we wouldn't be here otherwise. Right. And so it's kind of like one of those things where in life, it's like, if we just given up, or we hadn't tried, or we just sort of sat on the fence, we just wouldn't be here. And so for me, it's just all part of the story.
Yeah. And it's like growing pains. It's those stepping stones. Yeah. It's like get out of your comfort zone to just get.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, everyone has different issues. Like I'm not a very creative person. I cannot find by myself, without a lot of other people's help, the right model for me. So, like that's okay. Like, I mean, you can find people who are doing something and you can just say, like, okay, I'm going to start with that. Right. Like, we just recently, our big push is like trying to get people to sell SaaS essentially, which is software features in our app, kind of out to small business, with this idea of trying to impart like a business model to people that they can use. Because a lot of people will say like, oh yeah, these are cool tools and components, but how do I put them together to do something, right? This is actually what ClickFunnels I think does really well, which is like, here's a coaching thing. But the problem is then you're like, well, yeah, but what do I sell? Like absolutely, like tangibly, like, can you give me the thing? And they can't, so you have to still make it up. And so we're trying to endeavor to do something different there where it's like, hey, no, here it is. It's like, you sell the thing in the box. Here's how much you sell it for. Here's who you sell it to. Here's why it's beneficial, that sort of thing. Just trying to, continue. And I that appeals to a guy like me because I'm like, that's exactly what I would want. I would something like, here you go, because I'm not very creative. And so I think it's okay to do that because it's a great place for people to start.
Yeah, I really like that. That is really, really cool. So what drives you with your success?
What drives me?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I just love seeing the impact. So, and understanding and seeing that there's like a way to build a business that can help people. And at no level do we have to compromise our ethics, compromise our mission, compromise who we set out to be. And to me, that's very inspiring. And just watching the success of other people. I mean, we have just countless people who are making so much more money, and we're lucky to get thank yous on this all the time. And that is exactly what I was trying to do to begin with. And I love the idea that you can create a business around that. That to me is fantastic. I wish the world was that holistically.
Yeah. And it is really cool because it's just such a great model that a lot of people can make money off of one. How do I put this? Like if I look at like how I'm doing it, so I've got my people under me as sub accounts and they're all making money and I'm making money because I'm helping them. So it's just, and they're helping other people because my target client is impact driven entrepreneurs and people that want to make an impact and a profit. So it's like a beautiful circle of people just helping each other.
Totally. And that model is out there. It works. It can be done. Right. And so I think, and I don't think that's something we talk about enough. And I think a lot of people, in fact, say the opposite, like it can't be done. It doesn't work. It doesn't scale, that sort of thing. And I think that's just nonsense. And so I'm happy and I'm happy to be part of that world. That's the world I want to live in.
Yeah, no, I completely like that. Like 100% agree. Do you have anything else that you can add to the audience, Shaun, that I might not have touched on?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest thing I would say is like, if you are on the fence on getting in and becoming an entrepreneur, this is the time to do it. I mean, if you look at, I always love to say, if you go look at Google Trends, and if you don't know Google Trends, it's an awesome tool. But if you look at the term digital marketing agency, and you look back to when Google first started looking at the data, that term has never been searched more. And I think the reason why is because a lot of businesses through COVID have realized that digital is something that can't just be delayed anymore. It has to be the mainstay of your business. And more importantly, they know they need help with it. So they're reaching out to the internet right now, searching digital marketing agency because they're looking for one. So, it's a great time to be a person who is trying to help small and medium businesses find their legs when it comes to digital technology. And so I think it's a great business. I think it has a very bright future. And I hope that more people will jump in because it's a good time to do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with you. And I've noticed also since COVID, because COVID is when my business excelled because there was more people that started a business literally. And that's where the coaching came in and everything just went whoop, 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 whoop. And it's just amazing because people realize there is no other choice. Where they used to have a choice, some people lost their jobs and there were just no choice. So they had to make a plan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think though, hopefully from this also is that lesson, right? Which is, you never know what's going to come along. And if you don't have your own business of some kind, even if it's just a side gig, that one dependence on that one job, it may evaporate tomorrow. And, it doesn't always have to be because of a global pandemic. It could be lots of reasons, but, you need to be prepared. And you can only do that if you sort of take things into your own hands.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Shaun, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate
Likewise.
it. This has been really great. Guys, we're going to leave there's a 2-week trial that GoHighLevel provides, and we're going to definitely drop the link below. And Shaun, if anybody want to get in touch with you, maybe for a potential interview, or anybody, can they just reach out to you on LinkedIn like I did? Will that
LinkedIn, Facebook Messenger, whatever works for people.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Likewise, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye for now.